This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Thursday, November 20, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, President Ali leads government outreach in the ancient county. A small team makes a big impact on behalf of Guyana as thousands of persons debate climate-saving actions in Brazil. We take a dive into AI-generated videos, and in sports, depth and quality gives Guyana confidence of 5-peat at senior CASA and West Indies recall Kemar Roach for New Zealand Test Tour. With the news, I am Zini Yerwood. Thanks for joining us. President Irfaan Ali has taken his entire cabinet to the ancient county Berbice as part of efforts to make government services more accessible and to directly engage with residents. As he engaged citizens in and around New Amsterdam, his ministers fanned out across the region.
Today I can say to you, in this region, anybody with an engineering degree without a job, nursing qualification without a job, an engineering diploma without a job, an engineering certificate without a job, a heavy-duty operator without a job, or a pharmacist without a job. Anybody in this region with those qualifications without a job, I can tell you that we can employ you at this moment. Bring your CV and test us. There's no other country that can tell you this.
At COP30 in Belém, Guyana's climate message is being carried not only at the political level, but by a technical team of Guyanese experts, economists, scientists, and indigenous leaders whose work has shaped the country's low-carbon development strategy for nearly 2 decades.
In Belém, COP30 unfolds in the embrace of the world's largest rainforest. Guyana's delegation has taken its place among the global climate negotiators. But behind the speeches and political statements, it is the technical team, mainly Guyanese experts, who are explaining, defending, and shaping the country's most important climate policies. At the heart of that effort is Dr. Pradeepa Bolanath, an environmental economist guiding the country's REDD+ program and its low-carbon development pathway. Her work is central to explaining how Guyana has kept one of the lowest deforestation rates in the world.
Environmental economics is all about seeing how there could be a better balance between economic development and environmental conservation. A lot of what we do in Guyana's climate program and the low carbon development strategy for that matter is underpinned by that concept. How could we achieve a low carbon trajectory while maintaining the forest and while protecting and conserving the environment? So it really has come full circle for me in my earlier training in environmental economics, and then seeing that come to life, working with the national strategy, the LCDS, the forward-thinking nature of the strategy as expressed by Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali in bringing forests and biodiversity center stage in the conversation on development, and seeing now how that is impacting on forest-based communities and at the grassroots level. That's really rewarding to see that come to life and that happen.
She says having Guyanese lead these discussions is essential because the systems being showcased were built at home.
We have in Guyana also benefited from international expertise, and from time and time again, we would call on those expertise to help us develop parts of the system that we're implementing. At these levels though, when you're representing country positions and when you're taking forward the messages and the achievements and the challenges that Guyana has faced, it really is important to bring the local context. And I think it's most effectively done when it's made by Guyanese, because there is that sense of the lived experience. You know, we have lived what this experience has taught us. We have learned the lessons that we have learned over the close to 20 years of implementing this system. So we bring the message through what we have experienced having developed the system and implementing the system.
Guyana's technical team includes specialists drawing links between climate change and everyday life. For Lucina Singh, adaptation planning is now urgent and unavoidable.
As a Guyanese, it's a very proud experience because we, as a small country, we have done so much in relation to climate change, being the first in many areas, especially in areas related to forest management, carbon markets, and so for the region. And as you know, our LCDS is one of the first of its kind, being development strategy, but also focusing on having that low carbon sort of development.
Her team is finalizing adaptation plans for health, education, agriculture, sectors already feeling the effects of climate change.
As you know, there's a link with climate change in health. It might be things like diseases or just the impacts from having these extreme weather conditions and education. Even though we mightn't think about the strong link, there obviously is because climate affects everybody. And sometimes if there are extreme events, you might have days of school missing, and even things like heat can affect somebody how they learn.
Technical coordinator Raja Gokul says Guyana's credibility comes from years of patient work, building a system other countries now look to.
It's a privilege to be at COP, and I'm very proud to represent Guyana at COP because we have the prestigious, world-renowned low-carbon development strategy, which is widely respected. I'm very happy to be a representative and an agent of that strategy at this forum.
Guyana insists that any credible forest plan must include indigenous leadership, and the country has brought that leadership with it.
Forest is a global asset. As an indigenous people, I believe that indigenous voices are very crucial at this time because we have always lived in the forest. It's part of our life, it's in our DNA. And obviously, if anything to do with forest, indigenous people have a say. And that's what makes it very important.
He says seeing global attention on forests here in the Amazon feels like a moment of recognition for communities that have protected them for generations.
Looking forward that at this COP that we can have something tangible coming out of this. It's no more about fighting NGOs, fighting government and the policy holders. Is everybody got to understand that we have a common threat. We got to come together. We got to put away our differences and look at reality. Come to a solution. And this solution can only happen if we all can understand that climate change is a threat to all of us.
That combination of science, policy, and community leadership is also driving Guyana's global role, including co-chairing the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership with the UK.
First of all, Guyana isn't just talking about climate action. Guyana is leading it. While Guyana has stepped into the central position and driving ambition and inspiring action, we've been able to build on over 15 years of experience in forest conservation, carbon market mechanisms. And in this way, Guyana is showing the world how innovation and leadership can power a sustainable future.
At COP30, Guyana's climate message carries an unusual weight, not because the country is powerful, but because its experts speak with the authority of lived experience. For Guyana, the forest is not a distant symbol, it is home. And here in Belém, that message is being delivered by the people who know it best. Daniel Swain for the Newsroom in Belém.
When the newsroom returns, we delve into AI-generated videos and tell you about the return of the Phenomenal Women series. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. AI-generated videos are becoming increasingly prominent on social media, making it difficult to tell what's real and what's not. An AI-generated video that portrayed itself as a news piece produced by the newsroom is one such video gaining traction on social media. Amid the rise of such fake videos, one local expert shares how to tell what's real and what's not.
Citizens of Guyana are successfully earning more than $3 million per month on this platform. The character in this video appears to be me, a TV anchor at the newsroom. But something seems off. It seems realistic enough, and it has many of the same elements, from the logo to the title bar used by us here at the newsroom. But that's not my voice. And this wasn't a video shared on any of the official Newsroom Guyana pages. This was a video generated through the use of artificial intelligence. And it wasn't just me. The post also included a fake video of President Irfaan Ali seemingly announcing a new lucrative venture.
I am proud to announce that the ExxonMobil investment program is now officially available to all residents of Guyana.
Fake videos are becoming increasingly frequent across social media, and they blur the lines between real and fake reports. The United Nations, in an article published earlier this year, warned that AI-generated content, when used irresponsibly, can fuel misinformation and hysteria. Daryl Harris, a local software developer, shared with me how someone can tell if this video or other AI-generated content is fake.
I look for certain cues in the human in the video. Human eyes tend to dart around. I'm sure on your video you'll see that I'm looking at the cars passing on the road and that kind of thing. That doesn't happen in an AI video. The eyes tend to just only look at the camera. There's also background details, if there's a lot of stuff moving in the background, that you can look for inconsistencies there. AI, for some reason, doesn't generate skin with blemishes. People don't have boils, they don't have scratches or anything like that. The skin is perfect and shiny every time, which doesn't look realistic.
It's not only about what you see, it's also about what you hear.
So I'm Guyanese, so the accent immediately stands out to me. Nobody pronounces Guyana the way the president did. And nobody pronounces his name the way you did.
Our reality is that AI is here to stay, but there are many ways of figuring out what's real and what's not.
I would say just apply basic media literacy. Don't take everything as fact. Just because you saw it on Facebook does not mean that it's true. Do your research. Think about what you're looking at. Think about whether this person would actually honestly say that. Do you actually believe that? Think about your sources of information.
Relying on trusted sources for news is an easy way to avoid being misled, manipulated, or scammed. It prevents you from potentially falling into traps like these. Reporting for the newsroom, Vishani Raghabir.
The annual Phenomenal Women series is back this year from December 15 to 19 for its 5th edition. Ahead of the 5 features this year, series creator Michaela Cameron spoke to the newsroom about the show's growth over the years and what viewers can expect this year.
The Phenomenal Women series was created 5 years ago. I cannot believe that this is our 5th year. So it's 5 women in 5 different sectors, which are business entrepreneurship, oil and gas, health, arts, culture, and education, and then finally sports. We're going to highlight these different women, 5 different sectors, Monday, December 15th through Friday, December 19th. So very excited to see, who are going to be the selected women and just their phenomenal stories that we're going to hear from them. I continue it because each year, these women continue to be outstanding role models, outstanding women, like I said, pillars of society. Continuing to break glass ceilings, continuing to do unbelievable things that we can all be proud of, not just as women or men, just as Guyanese. So I'm really proud of what we've achieved thus far, and I'm really excited to do the big reveal December 15th through the 19th. You guys are in for a few surprises this year. Over the years, we've had some just amazing women, some phenomenal women that have broken glass ceilings, women that have excelled in their careers, women that continue to be pillars of society, women who are role models, not just for women, young women, but also men, and just people in general. And I'm so excited to again host this series for the 5th year. And I'm grateful for the support that I've received over the years from everyone. And so grateful to the business community, to Newsroom, especially to ENET. Just excited for the 5th year of the Phenomenal Women series. I'd like to thank ExxonMobil Guyana for their continued support. They've literally been with us since day one, as well as ENET, Newsroom. A big shout out to Wendy's as well, too. Love your nuggets and fries. A big thank you to RBL, always, Caribe, HJ 94.1, the station, of course, that runs the nation, Jules, King's Jewelry World, and finally Ogle and Stone. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really could not have done this without you guys. Phenomenal Women 2025, December 15th through the 19th. Check it out.
Still to come, the President Ali speaks about the EU elections report. Stay with us. A day after the European Union Elections Observation Mission released its final report on the 2025 general and regional elections in Guyana, the country's president, Dr. Irfan Ali, objected to some aspects of the report, but acknowledged other areas where improvements are indeed needed. The president, in a Facebook Live broadcast on Wednesday night, welcomed the EU's findings that the elections were well run and largely peaceful. However, he had qualms with the EU's position on an undue advantage of the incumbent, that is, an advantage President Ali's People's Progressive Party Civic (PPC) had by virtue of being the government at the time. Of particular concern to the president was that the EU flagged government activities conducted after the date for elections had been announced, be it the opening of new roads and schools or the continued distribution of grants.
Because of the performance of the People's Progressive Party civic government, we delivered on all our commitment. We had schools, we had hospitals, we had health centers, we had roads to be opened throughout the period, to be commissioned. That's not an incumbency advantage. That is a commitment that a government made in its manifesto of 2020 to 2025 that the incumbent would have delivered on. And the incumbent has a duty and responsibility like any other country in the European Union. In the European Union, governments campaign on their delivery. I agree when the report said also that persons living with disability, 59% of polling stations lack independent access. That is something we have to work on. We have to work to ensure that we make it easier for persons living with disability to exercise their franchise. And part of the new building code is to ensure that all our public facilities are equipped to support persons living with disability.
Honorary doctorate recipient Professor Clement Sankat has encouraged graduates of the University of Guyana to embrace lifelong learning as they contribute towards developing the nation. Sankat, director of the Guyana Technical Training College Incorporated, received his honorary doctorate, recognizing him for his decades of leadership in engineering education and vocational training. Sankat urged graduates to stay future-focused and reminded them to commit to lifelong learning, seek mentorship, and focus on safety and sustainability in all fields. Legendary civil engineer Egbert Carter was also honored during Thursday's combined ceremonies for the faculties of Agriculture, Earth and Environmental Sciences, Engineering and Technology.
I have the honor to confer on Professor Clem Sankat, the Doctor of Engineering, honoris causa.
Guyana is rising. Your country needs your skills, your mind, and your commitment. Commit to lifelong learning. Your degree is just your foundation. It is not the finish line. Technology, standards, and global expectations change quickly. Keep learning. Stay curious. A true professional never stops learning. Embrace technology early. Artificial intelligence, remote sensing, drones, automation, GIS, etc. These things are not the future. These are today. Use them and use them widely. Something that I'm passionate about. Protect the environment. Whether you work with land, water, forests, or communities, sustainability must guide you. Guyana's future and reputation depends on this. Guyana stands at one of the most remarkable moments in its modern history. A nation small in size, but rich in natural blessings, oil and gas, agriculture, forestry, fisheries, minerals, biodiversity, plenty.
With 40% of the fatal accidents this year recorded to have involved trucks, The Ministry of Home Affairs on Wednesday held a sensitization forum with truck drivers and truck owners. During this meeting at the Police Officers Mess Annex, Eve Leary, persons were informed of the upcoming implementation of auto-control speed governors for heavy-duty trucks. This aims to reduce speed-related accidents by limiting trucks to a maximum speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Following these consultations, the Ministry of Legal Affairs will draft the relevant bill to provide full legal authority for the nationwide installation and enforcement, which includes a clear outline of penalties. Additionally, Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel, appearing on the Starting Point podcast, said persons will face consequences for bypassing these devices.
I applaud the reasonableness of the Guyanese people, and they understand the real issues. We have procured 20 other scales, so the rollout of weighing is not going to just be in some areas. With the 20, we'll be able to take on some of the other regions, help to preserve the roads, because, you know, sometimes the barge goes in with a stone in a region, let's say for like region 2, and the barge wants to finish emptying off real quick. So a 30-ton truck will end up carrying 50 tons, and then you break a bridge while you're passing. So we have another 20 scales that are going to be in before the end of the year, and we have 1,000 clamps for the trucks. Because if you're caught with overweight, and we say pay a fine, that don't solve the problem. We have tested probably now by close to 2,000 trucks on their weight. And the truth about it, a lot of them, the majority is in compliance.
Nice.
The majority is not the reckless. The majority is in compliance. So that's good news for us. It means that we're going somewhere.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport news. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport, and we start things off with some squash news. Now, Guyana is preparing to field a formidable full squad as it hosts the Caribbean Area Squash Association Senior Championships, which begin this Sunday in Georgetown. The championships were relocated from Jamaica to Guyana following Hurricane Melissa, giving the home nation a strong advantage. Guyana is actively pursuing a historic five-peat in the overall team title. However, the competition will be fierce, with 8 other nations also vying to lift the overall trophy on November 29. Chairman of Competitions DJ Dias expressed strong confidence in the team's ability to perform well, noting that the squad's depth and quality are significant sources of enthusiasm.
What's fantastic about the Guyana squash team is that we're so deep. When you look at the men's team, this year, number 5 could very well beat number 1. Number 2 could lose to number 4. So with that depth, it makes us very consistent in terms of our performance. So even though we might not have the Caribbean champion, even though I think Daniel has a really good shot at winning it this year, that depth in the men's team is really tough to beat because it's a 5-man team. So at 3, 4, and 5, I believe we're extremely strong. And Guyanese women been dominating the Caribbean for a really long time. Of course, Barbados is coming with a really strong team this year, but in terms of the quality of Guyanese women players speaks for itself, and they still have their hard work ethic. They've been training hard, they've been very consistent, and I believe they got a great shot at taking it home as well. What's really great is that Pan Am Squash is looking at us as a Caribbean region for squash and acknowledging us, and they're giving us more ways to qualify because they want our representation at these bigger games. So what's really great to see is that firstly, they are allowing qualifications to happen through CASA. That's not a normal thing. Of course, we still attend Pan Am Games to represent, and because through that, you then get qualification into CASA. You have to attend Pan Ams to qualify at CASA. But in terms of the quality going up, you could definitely see it in the women's side. We have girls on the pro circuit. You have girls like Margot Prow. You have girls like Mary Fongafat who are going out and getting PSA points playing in professional squash. That in itself will raise the bar in terms of what goes on court. And of course, you also have the collegiate level. Megan Best's been doing fantastic work in Virginia. So has Amanda Haywood. And then also you have the homegrown talents like Ashley Khalil. Like Ashley Khalil will still always be a contender for the Caribbean title just because of the athlete that she is.
37-year-old fast bowler Kemar Roach has been recalled to the West Indies 15-man squad for the 3-test series against New Zealand in December, while the team will be without the injured pace duo of Alzari Joseph and Shamar Joseph. The squad, captained by Roston Chase, sees the inclusion of maiden call-up O.J. Shields and the return of all-rounder Kevam Hudge. The series, which forms part of the 2025-2027 ICC World Test Championship, begins on December 1. The selection committee prioritized experience in the pace department following the absences of Alzari Joseph and Shamar Joseph, who are rehabilitating from injuries sustained earlier this year. Among the key decisions, the selectors maintained faith in the 2 Guyanese Test incumbents, opener Tejarain Chandrapal and wicketkeeper batsman Tevin Imlach, both of whom retained their spots. However, the team saw the notable omission of fellow Guyanese batsman Kevlon Anderson, who was part of the Test squad that toured India but has been dropped for the challenging New Zealand assignment. West Indies Test squad to New Zealand includes Roston Chase, the captain, Jamel Warrican, vice-captain, Alik Athanasi, John Campbell, Tejarain Chandrapal, Justin Greaves, Kevam Hudge, Shea Hope, Tevin Imlach, Brandon King, Johan Lane, Anderson Phillip, Kemar Roach, Jaden Seals, and O.J. Shields. The Rugby Americas North Sevens Championship kicks off on Friday in Trinidad and Tobago, with Guyana's men's and women's teams facing crucial opening day matches, both lining up against the host nation.
The tournament, which has been expanded to a 3-day event at the Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima from November 21 to the 23rd, offers significant stakes. Winners of both the men's Tier 1 and women's categories will secure places on the World Rugby SVN's pathway. The competition also serves as a direct qualifier for the 2026 Central American and Caribbean Games in Santo Domingo. Both Guyanese squad will begin their campaign with a demanding clash against the home side. The men's opener against Trinidad and Tobago will be from 9:44, and the women's opener against Trinidad as well will be from 11:34. Later in the day, the teams will face further challenges as the men will come against Jamaica from 14 hours 6, and the women will be back in action from 15 hours 56 against Mexico. The final group matches are scheduled for Saturday, with the men facing Cayman Islands and the women taking on Barbados as they attempt to seal a top 2 finish in their respective groups to progress to the semi-finals. The men's team, captained by Lennon Holt, is currently in a transitional phase. Historically, a regional powerhouse with 7 Iran titles, most recently in 2016, the team will look to improve significantly on last year's 7th place in T1. The women's team, led by Sabola Gray, will be looking to make a strong return with their eyes on securing one of the 2 qualifying spots for the 2026 CAC Games. The women's team will come from Nicola Nero, Tiffany Pilgrim, Nikita Andrews, Mandy Brown, Sabola Gray as captain, Janila Shepard, Aquina Pauli, Tonya Smith, Karia Carter, Stereo Prasad, Alison Smiley, Sasha Greaves. The management team is Laurie Adonis as the head coach, Trisha Monroe as assistant coach, and Ryan Gonzalez as the manager. From the men's side, Ronaldo Niles, Sean David, Jamal Angus for his captain, Matthew Talbot, Michael Barrow, Jonathan Garnett, Lionel Holder as captain, along with Rashawn Dorton as cut. Along with Rashawn Dorton Howell, Gavin McPherson, Tyrese Prescott, Godfrey Polidor, Yannick Williams, and Elisha Crawford. The management team is Stephen Lewis, head coach, Claudius Butts, assistant coach, and Ryan Gonzalez as manager. For the newsroom, Akim Green.
We tell you now that the Guyana Football Federation has confirmed that it will launch a formal investigation into allegations of verbal abuse by head coach Thomas Dooley against members of the Golden Jaguars squad based domestically. On Wednesday evening, the GFF stated on Facebook that the inquiry will commence upon the team's return to Guyana following their successful run in the CONCACAF Friendly Series. The allegations, which were first reported by another section of the press, surfaced after Guyana secured back-to-back victories against Bonaire 2-1 and hosts Antigua and Barbuda 4-1. In its official statement, the GFF acknowledged that it had been informed by team management of claims that domestic players were subjected to harsh criticism by the head coach during a team meeting. The Federation stressed its commitment to professional standards, particularly within the national team program. The Guyana Harpy Eagles put on a dominant batting display in their regional Super 50 opener on Wednesday, but rain ultimately denied a result against the Jamaica Scorpions at the Queen's Park Oval. Guyana was sitting pretty at a formidable 287 for 6 after 47 overs when the weather intervened, forcing an abandonment. Crucially, the Harpy Eagles walked away with 6 points, securing 4 bonus points for their high run rate performance. The innings was built on a fluent 107-run opening century stand between List A debutant Raymond Perez, 61 off 66, and captain Matthew Nandu, 54. The momentum was later seized by Test player Kevlon Anderson, who launched a sensational assault on the Scorpions' bowling, striking a blistering 83 from just 60 balls. The Harpy Eagles will look to carry this exceptional form into their next assignment this Friday against the Windward Islands Volcanoes at the Sir Frank Worrell Ground.
Go.
Adi, first of all, congrats on making it to Guyana. It's a big achievement for you and the family. Just go well. Cricket is not too difficult, similar to back home. Just enjoy your cricket. You got the talent, you got the skill. So just go and execute and you have a long career.
Well done, Teddy.
Next. On to the next Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, happy day.
John, congrats on your debut. You're not a stranger to this level of cricket. You play cricket for Guyana already, and you have that talent and skill to go further in your career. Wish you all the best. This is a proud moment for you, for your family, and wish you all the best moving forward.
Peter!
Move in.
Move in. Congrats on making your debut. I know this will be a proud moment for you, your family, and Teddy. Being here from the start, trying to get close and make him proud, your family, and represent the world.
And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. Of course, you can find these and other stories at our website, newsroom.ui, and across our social media pages, Newsroom Guyana. On behalf of the technical teams and the news team, I'm Vishani Raghavar. Thank you for watching. Somebody's calling me. Oh, Neil is calling me. Why is Neil calling me?